Up, great people. It's Pastor G.
It's Lady T.
It's a beautiful Monday as well. We're excited about being here on this incredible beginning of your brand new. Some of you is a work week. Some of you is just the beginning of a new week. Whatever it is, you are blessed by the best. You are loved by the greatest lover ever. You are. You are special to him, not just love, but you are special. You are loved with a special love from the creator of all things. In other words, you got endorsements, you got backing, you got approval.
Powerful.
What else do we have? We got everything. You got a child's approval of God, a child's approval. I don't think you can get a better approval than the approval of a child. You can't get in the child mindset. Here's what a child mindset is. A child's mindset is that really, if my daddy got it, I've got it too. And you can't tell me that if my daddy got it, I don't have access to it.
Come on.
Except you become as a little child. Now that is interesting because what I'm going to talk about today is a little bit about maturity. I want you to mature at being a child. I want you to mature at being a good child. That's interesting. That sounds like it's an oxymoron, right? It sounds like it's backwards or it's off. Maturing at being a child, or become better, or become good at not trying to figure out things yourself, allowing your dad to do it for you. That's maturing at becoming a child. And except you come as a little child, you shall in no wise inherit the kingdom. A real child knows without a doubt, if my daddy ain't here, and if my daddy don't do it for me, it won't be done. I'm not even gonna try it. Sometimes we get upset with our children and say, you trying to spend all my money, spend your own. No, you my daddy, I'm spending yours. So we're going to mature at being a child. I am excited today. Thank all you guys for being in the house. Y'all need to stay with me. Y'all need to start sharing me because we got some important information I want to pass along. I'm passing along information to people. I am declaring that what we are about to say is something that you already possess. I want to highlight it. I'm not trying to say you're going to wait a while and God's going to give it to you. I want to alert you. I want to inform you that you already have. These are things that are currently inside you already, and now it's time. That's what when the text says, Paul tells Timothy that you're going to stir up the gift that is inside you. He's not telling Timothy, I'm going to give you a gift. I'm going to give you my anointing. I'm going to give you anything. He's saying, you're going to stir up what God has already given you. You're already in possession of this. You just need a pushing. You just need something to tug you to make you aware of who you already are.
It's the same as him turning.
Yes.
Turning the thing that is already in you, the thing that you already have. Not I'm going to give you, or I'm not going to make it, but I'm going to turn your sorrow into happiness. I'm going to turn your mourning into joy because this is already in you. Well, so all he has to do is just turn it.
Yes.
Just turn it. Yeah. So that's the thing about it is knowing that God can, he will, and he is turning.
Right.
He's turning.
He's turning. It's God's purpose. Do you know it's God's purpose for you to be blessed? No, I didn't just say it was a desire, just a desire. Listen to what I just said. It is God's purpose. God's purpose. It is God's mandate. Do you know you have a mandate, a God mandate on you to live the blessed life?
Wow.
That's a mandate. It's just not enough. It's not maybe if I can do enough things to convince him. No, he's already convinced. Now the enemy has caused people to convince you that it's not there. I'm here to convince you that it is. You already currently possess this. Now our minds got to think differently. We got to see things a little differently, and that's what today is all about. Now, let me say this very clearly. Have you shared me? Thank you, Missionary Betty Ortiz, Pastor Deidre. Blessings to you, Natalie Farmer Ducker. Thank you so much, Sandra K. Musgown. Blessings, Christy. Blessings. Sylvia Driggins. Thank you so much, Pastor Melinda Downing, Pastor Nolan. We are in Dallas right now. We can't wait to Bible study on tonight. We're in Dallas, Texas. We're excited about NOBD tonight. It's going to be incredible. James Cranford. thank God for you, brother. Life is opening up for you. Obey God and watch how God does it for you. Tracy Daniels, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Pastor Marissa, blessings. Leroy Sutton the third, great seeing you this weekend. Blessings. Kelly Allen, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Jeanette Davis, Serena Henson, thank you guys so much. Now, I acknowledge people. Camille, thank you so much. I acknowledge people. Why? Because I know that you could be doing so many other things, but you're here listening. Now, let me tell you the truth since you're here. Let's get to the truth. That's what I need to get to. It's the truth. Since you're here, we might as well tell the truth. Listen, this is a time of exposure for you. God is about to expose you. Now, I needed to say this. I needed to say this because when you say exposure, we have always heard the negative connotation of exposure. We have taken the scripture and really, because we didn't understand who we were and who we belong to. You belong to the Almighty God. You are a child. You can't even say I'm a child and think of destruction and chaos in your life. That is, hey, Tiana Flowers, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for being out. Now, you listen to me. You cannot, thank you, Missionary Betty. Thank you, blessings to you. You cannot say that I'm a child. This is what do you my wife is a PhD level therapist now. What is it when you got a relationship, you're a child, but you think that your parent or your father or whoever is always after you to get you? What do you call that? That's what kind of psychological conundrum is that? That's a disorder, right?
It's most definitely.
If you're a child of someone and you think that their only main obligation is to come after you every time you messed up, oh, you spelled your name wrong, now I got to cut your neck off. I got to kill you because you spelled your name wrong. I'm sorry. We are perfect over here. That's what we've been taught in our doctrines. And we have missed the point. God is not after you to kill you. He's after you to bless you. Yeah. He's doing the same thing to you as he did to Jacob. If you read this in Genesis chapter 36, I believe it is. Jacob, it says, Jacob separated himself from family. It said, and there wrestled a man with him. We've been taught Jacob wrestled with a man. Well, actually he did. But the initiation of the wrestle was from the man. It says, there wrestled a man with him. Mm-hmm. What is this a picture of? This is a picture of him finally getting to the place where he's stopped running from Esau and all the other things that he thought was after him. And now he's about to transition into his next life, and he's going to know that he's blessed. And so the Bible says, there wrestled a man with him. Because he knows the next day I'm going to wrestle, I think in my mind, with my brother Esau physically. But the night before, he wrestled with an angel. So what the picture is, long story short, is you're going to wrestle in the spirit. And once you get that connection corrected, then God is going to allow you to overcome all the things in the physical that you thought you had to contend with. Now, here's the thing. There wrestled a man with him, not him wrestling with man. It wasn't Jacob's desire to wrestle with a man. A man came to wrestle with him. What is that saying? That God wants you blessed so much that you don't have to wrestle him down. He's going to come after you and wrestle you down and say, you can't run from me any longer, or you can't run from this purpose. You can't run from my mandate on your life any longer. Mm-hmm. Even if I have to give you a limp so you can't run no longer. I am going to put this on you and I'm going to wrestle you down. You are not having to find me. I'm looking for you. So what does that mean? That this is a season of unveiling. All right. Listen to me very closely. You are about to be unveiled by your Father. You got some gifts in you that have been sharpened by the tragedies, by the circumstances, by the situations. You have looked up and woke up and got up and realized that I've been through many things, Master, but today I'm still here. Mm-hmm. You got to smell, you got to sniff this thing out. You still here after what you've gone through? Yes, I'm still here. I need to be mourning because no, you don't. You need to be thanking God.
Yes.
That the things that took out other people couldn't even take you out. You're still standing up. That's a lot of you right now don't even understand why you're still standing. Well, let me explain it to you. You're still standing because God's got a purpose that he's ready to unveil now. This is your now season. So he's going to unveil you. Our purpose right now is to make sure when he unveils you, you maximize what he allows you to walk into. Because you can be unveiled, you can have a seed in your hand and die with the seed. Never maximize the moment, because it's been taught you that you shouldn't be able to after the things that you've gone through. Yes, my brothers and my sisters, if you've gone through and you made it through, now it's time to break through. This is your breakthrough. God is unveiling the thing. And actually what he's going to do, the very thing that couldn't kill you, now is going to bring life to other people. It tried to kill you. If it had killed you, then the whole thing would have died. But since it couldn't kill you, now a whole bunch of people about to live. Your ministry is about to be launched. He's about to unveil you. And so we want to make sure you don't get this thing twisted in the unveiling. Get ready, prepare yourself, prep yourself for the unveiling, because God is about to do it for you. Now, here's what we have got to change in our mindset, in our thinking, in our processes. If you have not shared me, begin to share me, because I'm going to share this with you. When we get this down, that God is not after me to kill me, he's after me to bless me and to engage or to awaken what he's already placed in me. He's ready for it to come alive. He's unveiling. Now, when I say unveiling or exposure, please hear me. Exposure. The exposure has always been negative. This is why we are finding everything that you see on social media, on YouTube, is about exposing somebody. We thought that God had given us the ministry to expose a man's weakness. Are you serious? You think that's all God got time to do is expose? Well, you get a lot of attention if you start exposing someone's mishaps. Really? The enemy is winning at us exposing people's mishaps. Are you listening? Listen to me, please. It is not your obligation to go around trying to find out who is doing something wrong so I can expose it. That's a low life. That's a depressed life, really. That's a life that invites sickness in constantly, because you are allowing an atmosphere of exposure to come in. Now, when you speak of the word exposure, it ain't just highlighting someone's frailty. It's actually exposing your life to the atmosphere and to the spirit of that thing that you're trying to do. We got to be very careful, and the enemy loves it. He loves that we could bring a negative atmosphere so he can bring things in. So many people are praying like, what is going on with this? Why am I doing this? Because we have opened up the door to the negativity. And we have been preached in our doctrines to be negative. We don't know that when we start exposing, then we get exposed. Okay. Because with exposure comes exposure. Yeah. It comes. It happens. See, we are going to be aware of the enemy's devices in this season. The enemy has used things and say, it's your God-given mandate to expose it. Anything you see wrong, you go after. But he didn't tell you, when you open yourself up to expose someone else's problem, you open up the door for your problem to be exposed. Amen. Because you created the atmosphere to do so. This is why God is trying to bring us back to a mindset where we know that we are blessed and we should be going for the blessed life. Why? Because we expose ourselves to the blessing. Our atmosphere become a blessed atmosphere, and now the downloads from God is easier to get into our space. And so what happens when he unveils us, we are able to live life at the maximum level. How many of you want to live life at the maximum level? We have declared that this season of our life is the happiest time of our entire life. Now, I taught on yesterday in church that Paul says, I think myself happy. In other words, happiness comes at your thinking. And if you have been taught bad doctrine, and we have in many instances, about how mad God is and how much he wants us to die and how much he don't care about this and how angry he is, then we will start thinking that it's over for us and let me just grab what I can and go on out of this. The devil is a lie. I prophesy right now that you're about to live the happiest season of your entire life. God is going to allow you to lay hands on that he promised you. You will not defer any longer in the season, because he's going to unveil everything that he promised you. This is the unveiling season. We're going to get rid of the negative. That's why Paul says to the Galatians, you read this Galatians, I always wonder why Paul says, oh foolish Galatians, who have bewitched you? What in the world is you talking about? He's talking to people that God's grace had saved. They were a barbaric people, and God's grace came in and saved them and said, I don't care what you was before. As long as you connect to the unlimited source, you're going to be everything I said you could be. You are people that were not people, but now that you believe, you're going to become a people and be everything that I wanted. And now they got saved by grace. They start believing that life was about to happen. And then here come some religious, law-abiding citizen come dancing into their life and saying, yeah, I know what you think. I know you think it's going to be good. But let me tell you, it ain't going to be as good, because it can't be as good because whoa. And so Paul says, oh, foolish Galatians, says, really? Are you listening to people when you know that God has saved you by grace and promised you this life, and you were about to launch your life and explode, and you listen to somebody that you say know more about this than I know, and now if they said I can't win, then I guess I can't win, because they never won. Well, they never thought on that level that you thinking on, because they were not privy to the information that you were privy to. Please stay with me, because it gets interesting, because you're about to bust out, you're about to be unveiled, you're going to maximize life. I prophesied it into your life. That's why he says, if anybody preach any other gospel than the gospel that I preach, if an angel preach another gospel, let it be accursed. What is he saying? If they are preaching that you are not qualified through the cross, and you are not capable of getting everything that the cross can deliver through grace, then that's another gospel. He says, but really it ain't another gospel. You thought it was, because it came from sources that you admire. I always suggest this, and this has been my declaration here lately. You got mentors, they are great, and we all do, and I'm an advocate for mentors, but a mentor should not be able to speak over the master. Your mentor can't speak over the master. If you got a master, please hear me. Please hear me. Please hear me. A mentor can't speak over a master. I'm sorry, that's the way that we have heard it our entire life, that there were people that are greater than God. No, my brothers and sisters. I'm sorry to tell you, and I know this is sticking a pin in so many balloons. There's a master that has created your life, and there's a desire that he has for your life. I prophesy to you that this is the season that you're going to overcome everything that has been keeping you under.
Thank you.
The Lord is going to this season. This is your launching season. This will be the happiest time of your life. Right now, you need to be grabbing a hold to this. All the skeptics, I suggest right now that you grab a hold to this. All of you that can't believe, it's the most difficult thing in the entire world is to make a believer believe, because they see so much stuff going on, and our life is to be lived by faith, and everything we see with our natural eye, we start worrying about what's happening in the natural. We are to live this life by faith, my brothers and sisters. If God said it is, then that's what it is. I don't care what everything else suggests. If God said it, I believe it. Thank God for it. You need to be thanking God for your life being the life that he always promised you. Do not die with a seed in your hand because you didn't understand what God was trying to do. Because somebody that didn't understand what God said about you told you that it was impossible because they never lived it. The devil is a lie. He is a lie. I'm going to take a drink on that because I got to get to this. This is a season that God is unveiling you right now. This is a season of exposure. This is not the season. When I say a season of exposure, this is not the season for you to try to find some dirt on somebody to expose them. Please hear me. Because with exposure come exposure. If you're trying to expose everybody else, remember, you're going to be exposed. Please hear me. You got to get this. I need you to be focusing on what God has created you to be and start living at that level. Don't die with the seed in your hand trying to figure out. Now, let me drop something in here. When the word exposure is written in scripture, we have misinterpreted scripture. Thank you so much, Ann, for being in the house. Thank you so much, Jennifer, for being in the house. Thank you so much, Pastor Tom Scott. Thank you so much, Pastor Stephen Robinson. Thank you so much, Deborah Shea. Thank you so much. Blessings to all of you. Now, hear this. The Bible says this, and we misinterpret scripture. It says this, 22nd. This is Mark chapter 4, verse number 22. Listen to this very carefully. It says, "For there is nothing here which shall not be manifested." There's nothing here which shall not be manifested. Rather, neither was anything kept secret, but that it should be come abroad. I have heard people take this passage of scripture and mess it up in a royal way. They use this passage to say that everything that you've done in dark, God is about to expose every sin in your life. He's about to ruin your life because he told you to get out of that life, and now he's about to ruin life. That is not what this text is saying. This is why it's very important when you read scripture, go and read the entire context. You know, it's so important that we go and take word and do the etymology of words so we can find out what the original intent of the word. We got to see this because we're building doctrines and ideals, and we're building destructive things off one passage that we didn't put into context. Now, Mark 4, when Jesus gets to the 22nd verse, he's taught a whole parable of the sower. He's talking about the sower. A sower went out to sow. What did he sow? The seed was the word. He started talking about how the word, some fell on good ground, some fell on bad ground, some fell on stony ground. He goes all the way. And then he says this at the end of the teaching. He says, the 20, I'm starting at 20 to give context to the parable of the sower. Most of you know it, but I want to bring context because this is an unveiling and exposure season. This is not negative stuff. This is good stuff that he's about to expose. He took your negative stuff to the cross so that he can bring you good stuff to your life. He paid the price so that you can live life at the level of God. He's about to unveil you. There's some good parts in you that you didn't allow to live because you were so focused on the negative stuff. If you focus on the negative stuff, it's going to always look bigger than the positive stuff. Because the positive stuff always starts small and then God advances in your faith. So the negative stuff always come big and reduce you down to nothing. The positive stuff comes small. He says faith as a mustard seed, means it's always starting small and it continues to grow into something big. This is our problem. We never let the positive come because we're so focused on the big negative. It was a simple error taught to us by the teachers. Well, God is robbing you of robbers in this season. Now you're going to take the small thing. That's why he says despise not small beginnings, because what he's about to drop in this unveiling and in this season of highlighting you, it's going to look very small. But don't you discredit, don't you take for granted this small thing. It's just the beginning. It is just the seed for an entire harvest. But it's going to start small. And by your faith, you're going to cultivate it, 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 you're going to cultivate it. When you understand that everything in God starts small, you don't have to be in competition when you see somebody else big. Woohoo! I just said something. You don't have to be in competition. You can see somebody else look like they're incredibly large, they're much larger than you, and you just got this small seed. That's just the beginning, baby. This will stop you from being in competition, comparison, and this will definitely stop you from having to feel obligated to tear them down. I'm going to expose something on them so that I can tear them down. That perhaps if I tear them down, the people that are connected to them is going to connect to me. Are you crazy? No, I didn't say crazy. I'm sorry. I shouldn't say the word crazy. Are you seriously thinking that you're tearing down somebody else is going to build you up? You know what? Really, when you look at the grand scheme of things, there are some things that people have toiled with to get to the position that they're in, and they are going through purity or hell with the people, but they are maintaining because God told them they were assigned to that assassin or that mess. Please hear me. And they are dealing with it, and you think you want that problem. You don't want that problem. You don't want that problem. So now you don't need to tear anybody. You don't need to expose anybody. Focus on what you got, even if it's a little seed, and allow God to expose it and unveil it and watch how it grows. So now you're going to become so focused and so tunnel vision on what God has given you in vision. And you're about to explode. I'm telling you. Now, here it is. Jesus has taught the text, Mark 4, of the parable of the sower. And now at the end of it, he says, this is 23, Mark chapter 4, verse number 20. Watch, check it out. Check it out. It says, and these are they which are sown on good ground, such as hear the word. Listen to it. The word, the seed is the word. That hear the word and receive it. You got to hear it. You got to receive it. Watch this. And bring forth fruit. Some 30, some 60, and 100-fold. Now, the level of the harvest exchange is not based off God. He hadn't predetermined the size of the harvest. He always allow you to hear and take in, and then it determines the size of your harvest. That's why I got to get focused on hearing, taking in, so my harvest will increase. Not what the hater said, and not how they did it. I got to focus now on hearing what the word says, taking it in, and allow it to produce. My harvest is 100%. Now it says some could get 30, some could get 60, but the determining factor is by you. Please hear me, and your harvest should be at 100 because you're taking in, because now I'm focused on what God said. Now he's talking about a seed because he just taught the parable of the sower. Stay with me. Now the 21st verse says, and he said unto them, is a candle brought to be put under a bushel. Check it out. Or under a bed, and not to be set on the candlestick. He's still talking about a word. A word, the word of God is what lights up our pathway. Thy word is a lamp unto my feet. And so he's talking about a candle. He's talking about a light. He just got through talking about the parable of the sower. He's talking about the word, which is a light. He says, is this light of the word, the understanding that you're hearing now, is it to be hidden like you've always done, stuck on the back burner as you always done? Or is it time for you to take your word that you understand and put it in the proper place? In other words, the word should stand number one in your life, because that's what victory is. It's in the word. And when you got the proper word, I don't care what it looks like and how dark it looks, this light of the word will light up your path to your next life. That's why he's about to unveil. Unveiling is to light up. Why? Because he's sending a word that is going to light up and make it clear what he's trying to do in you. Please stay with me, because this is important. That's why I got a motto at Network of Believers. Your level of word determines your level of living. Your quality of word determines your quality of life. Why? Because Jesus just taught a parable that says 30, 60, 100-fold based on what you hear, take in, and apply. It will light up your pathway to your destiny. That's what I'm telling you. Your destiny pathway is being lit up right now, but you got to get over the negativity so that the light can shine. Technically, darkness cannot overshine light. If you are in a gross dark place and you strike a match, then light always takes dominance over darkness. That's why I always thought the church said you can't go there because it's dark over there, as if that darkness is going to take over your life. They just didn't know that you were lit up by the one that light up you. If you put that light on the candlestick, he going to stick you to a dark place so you can light the dark place up.
All right.
That's what you're here for. Now stay with me now, because God is unveiling, he's exposing. Now watch this. Watch this. So he says you don't put a candle under a bushel or under a bed. You take this candle and put it in the proper place. Some of you been ashamed of your light, and so you hid it. Because the people told you that you were not ready to shine yet. The devil is a lie. You are ready. He's unveiling you right now. Now, 22nd verse. 22nd verse. Now, watch this. Here's the 22nd verse. Check it out. Stay with me now. Watch. 22nd verse says this. For there is nothing hid which shall not be manifested. There's nothing kept secret, but that it should come abroad. 23rd verse says, listen to this. 23rd verse says this. If any man have ears, let him hear. It's time to hear. Take heed what you hear. With what measure you meet, it shall be measured to you. Yes. Your harvest is going to be dependent on what you're hearing right now. Make sure you take it in. It shall be measured unto you, and unto you that hear shall more be given. If you're interested in the season and hearing the word, God's going to give you more word. If he gives you more word, what does it do? It lights up your pathway. What does that do? That change your harvest from 30 to 60. You take more word and change your harvest from 60 to 100. That's what he's saying. Now, notice again what he's just said. It's very important. Let me explain it again. He says, for there is nothing hid which shall not be made manifest. Neither was anything kept secret, but it shall become right. What is he saying? He says there have been words that light up your life that has been hidden from you, that he's about to expose the proper word that's going to allow you to walk into destiny, and you're going to be able to maximize the moment. Because your level of word will determine your level of living. Your quality of word determines your quality of life. That's why he says you can't hide. He's about to expose a word. He never talked about exposing a man's life. He never talked about going in, I'm going to expose a marriage, I'm going to expose this. That's what the enemy suggested, but the word of God just told it. He's talking about exposing a word that allowed you to live and maximize what God has already placed on you. Your faith cometh by hearing. So he says there's not a word that's going to be hidden from those that desire to hear. Yes. This is the season of hearing. He's going to give you the keys, the instructions in this life, and now you're about to maximize the life. While everybody else is being negative, you're going to be so consumed about living the maximum life that God shared. This is why it's going to be so important, because if you read Matthew chapter number 13, verse number 17, watch what he says. Very strategic, very powerful. He says, many righteous men and prophets desire to know what you know, but it was not given to them to know. Yes. And so you cannot sit around and try to explain and try to apologize for you knowing what you're about to know. This is going to be a spiritual download to the unusual. The people that were on the back burner is about to hear the word of God. I think it's so interesting that in Jesus' first miracle, if you go to John chapter 2, his first miracle was the wedding at Cana. And the Bible says that they ran out of wine, and Jesus' mother Mary said, there's my son, do what he says. First miracle. Now, interesting. When he does the miracle, the text says when the governors of the feast tasted the wine, they said, oh my God. They usually bring the best first. But now we see that they say the best to last. Ooh, that's so powerful. This is a picture right now. Listen to me. Listen to me. They usually bring the best first, but now we are taking and finding that they're bringing the best at the last. So the last is about to become up, and then the best is about. This is about to be a major shifting in spirit. Yes. I'm prophesying to them now. Stay with me now. Stay with me now. But it says, and the governors of the feast didn't have, or the heads of the feast, or the heads of the organization, or the heads that be, didn't know what had happened. How did this happen? But listen to what the text says in detail. Go read it. It says, but the servants knew. Yeah. This exchange is going to be recognized and revealed to the people that everybody thought couldn't know. It's the people that have been behind that is about to understand that this was a miracle, when the people that should have been in the know have no idea what Jesus just done in the miracle. I just said something to somebody. What are you saying, Pastor? I don't care where you've been. I don't care where you found yourself. I don't care how many times you found yourself there. God is telling you that you are about to get an unction from the Holy One, and you're going to know all things when the people that you thought should have known don't have any idea. I didn't say it. The scripture said it. Now, let me get that to this. This is an unveiling season. God is about to expose. Now, don't get mad at me. Don't get mad at me. Don't get mad. Get in where you fit in. Now, this is going to be a season that there's going to be birthed in two different generations. And it's important that God give birth in two different generations. Under no circumstance, generation is people born at a certain age, a certain time. But in God's world, in the spiritual world, in the kingdom world, a generation is people that is birthing the same ideal or getting the same revelation. So the age is not going to be the factor. It's the revelation that's going to count. Right. There's going to be some 80-year-old people that get the revelation. There's going to be some 10-year-old that get the revelation. Y'all going to be in the same generation. Whoa, this is going to be powerful. Please stay with me. Please stay with me. So you get. And so what's happening in this season, there's going to be births in two different generations. Y'all need to stay with me, and y'all need to share this with somebody, because I'm about to unpack something, unlock something that's very powerful. There's going to be birthed in two different generations. Please hear me. Please hear me. Why is this important to God? Because when you read in Luke chapter 1, it is. I'm off the script now. Let me go off the script. Luke chapter 1, Mary gets a salutation from Gabriel that you're pregnant. And she says, I can't be pregnant because I don't know no man. Yeah. He said, this pregnancy can't come from man. This is a different pregnancy. Man usually impregnates you, but this season it's going to be a God impregnation. And they might be mad at you, or you might have to hide yourself for a season, because they ain't going to understand how you got this level of download and they were not able to participate. I'm prophesying to somebody. I'm going to put my iPad down. This is a different level of pregnancy, because God is exposing different levels, because the world needs to see a different level of God right now. And so he's got to take the people that ain't got nothing to lose. They don't have no reputation. I don't need to adhere to nobody. I don't need to be subject to nobody. I need to take this download from God and live it. Now, please stay with me, stay with me, stay with me, stay with me. And so here it is. He says, Mary, here's a citation. You're going to be pregnant with something that man is not going to participate in. She says, it can't happen. It can't happen because I don't know no man. He said, this is not a man-given exchange. Hebrews chapter number 7, verse number, what is it, verse 12, 13? 12, 13? It says, there's a priesthood that is birthed that is different from the priesthood of the Levitical priesthood. What is he saying? Moses did not make mention at the altar. This is not a man. This is something that God is exchanging. Please stay with me, because this is very important. So he says this priesthood was not mentioned at the altar by Moses. And many going to think that it is not qualified, or shouldn't be accepted. But he said this is not the priesthood that this is not man-made. Same thing he tells Mary. He tells Mary, this birthing is going to be a birthing, this holy thing. This holy thing that you're carrying. She says, I don't know a man. This is how this happened. He says, no, not this birthing. This is going to be a pure birthing from God. This is a God exchange. You won't know no man. So they can't stop this because they did not produce this. What you're about to birth is changing the world. And you don't need to be obligated to men or be at their schedule, because I'm going to shift you into something that is going to be incredible. And so now Hebrews chapter 7 verse 12, I believe it is. It says that this priesthood was not made mention by Moses at the altar. So many going to believe that it is not qualified because it didn't go through the system of man. Now watch this. He says, this is, now check this out. This priesthood is after the order of Melchizedek. It was not mentioned under the Levitical order. Stay with me. Okay. It's not on the Levitical order. Now, what is this? The Melchizedek. So when he says this order is under the Melchizedek order, we got to look at who Melchizedek was. Now, watch what it says. Melchizedek, you go back to Genesis chapters 14, 15. Go define it. Now, watch this. Watch it. You don't have to find it. I'm telling them to find it. Now, watch this. Stay with me now. And so now Abraham gets the news that Lot, his nephew, had been captured by 5 kings. Boom, he says, I'm going. Now notice what Abraham did. Abraham go and get 318 servants out of his own house and go and fight the 5 different kings and retrieve his son, his nephew Lot. Stay with me. And now, when he comes back, he runs into 2 different kings. He runs into the king of Sodom and the king of Sodom. It's right in the same passage, so it seems like you don't know who he talks to. But now, watch this. The king of Sodom says, hey, Abraham, give me the people, I give you the stuff. He said, I can't do that because that's a man exchange. This is not what I got. So here comes the king of Salem, whose name is Melchizedek, Prince of Peace, Jerusalem. Stay with me now. Stay with me. Ooh, this is so powerful. And so he says, blessed art thou, Abraham, possessor of heaven and earth. In other words, I already see that you blessed before I even talk to you.
Come on.
Now, watch this. When Melchizedek comes to Abraham, what does he come? He says, the text says he comes with bread and what? Wine. Bread and wine. In other words, you've been in a battle, Abraham. Let me replenish you. This priesthood is a replenishing priesthood. It's not a priesthood that takes from you. It's a priesthood that gives. That's why the priesthood that in today that's not mentioned at the altar, we feel obligated that people are to bring to us. But this priesthood is a priesthood that's going to give. It's time for us as priests to replenish the people that have been in war, that's been in hardship in their life. And for those that will accept that call, God says he's going to supply you with everything you need to take care of his people. These are the people that are being unveiled in this season. These are the people that are being exposed in this season. People are going to wonder, how are you doing this at this level and you didn't come through us to do it? Wow. Because this priesthood, after the order of Melchizedek under the line of Christ, is not one that takes, it's one that gives. Why? Because they are already given from an unlimited supply. And God does not want you to think in this season the reason why you're being blessed is because you're a connection to him. Amen. He wants you to know that you're being blessed because your connection to him, God, your supply and your source. Stay with me. So this is a season of exposure. This is a season of exposure. It's not exposing somebody's life and they're wrong. It's exposing people to the word of God that brings them life. And it's going to correct everything that they've been wrong. Thank you, Mom, for being here. Are y'all still here with me? And so this is very important that we get this. So now there's nothing that has been hidden in this season that won't be exposed. If you're hungry for revelation, he's about to send it to your life. If you're hungry for the truth, he's about to give you a supply of truth that is going to allow your cup to OVA flow. This is going to be a season of overflow. You are going to be unveiled. God is ready to unveil your ministry when you can get all of the people. Let me go back. Thank you, Holy Ghost, for that. And so I went off into that whole thing. But let me come back, because I was talking about Mary, and I was talking about the birthing that she got from God, that she says, I don't know no man. He says, no, this is not a man exchange. Yes. You don't need to know them. Now, they'll be blessed by this. But please hear me. They'll be blessed by this, but they didn't give it to you. So I don't need you to stop every time I got a question. Now, how in the world many righteous men and prophets, Matthew 13:17, shall desire to know what you know and that had been given to them know. Now, watch this. This is not you being insubordinate. This is not for you being whatever they call you. This is you being obedient to God and his move and his exchange. There's a time that God says, come forward. You need to come forward. I'm sorry that they might not understand that. I'm not bucking against the system. I'm not. But the question was asked Paul, who was working into a great system on the road to Damascus, Acts chapter 9. Now, how can you be operating in a system you think that you are zealous above all your brothers? You have more information than all your brothers. You are zealous to do the work of your elders more than your brothers. And then God come in and say, how can you kick against the prick? You thinking, what prick? I'm doing everything they told me. He says, well, if I just said you kicking against the prick, what you're doing must not be what I created you to do. Okay. Stay with me now. It gets interesting. Now, where was I? Okay. Now, Mary has gotten this salutation from Gabriel. Read the text. It's Luke chapter 1. And now she's saying, I don't know no man. He says this is unusual birth. This is something that's downloaded in you from God, but it's going to be powerful. This holy faith, it's going to be powerful. Now, what does he say? I told you it's going to be birthed in 2 different generations. A generation under normal circumstances, people born at the same time. But in God's world, in kingdom world, a generation is people that's getting the same revelation. The age is not the factor. It's the understanding that puts you in this generation of revelation. You're going to be the generation of revelation. There's going to be some 84-year-old, like my mom. There's going to be some 10-year-old. There's going to be people of all ages that's going to be in a generation because of their revelation. And God's going to consider us all. Now, he says to her, he says, now that you have received this pregnancy, let me send you to somebody that's in another generation age-wise that is pregnant at the same time. Very powerful. Why is God saying I need to connect you with somebody that's pregnant in the season? I don't need to connect you with people that ain't gave birth
come on.
but 40 years ago, because they're not going to understand the birthing of now. Please hear me. I'm prophesying. So I need to connect you with somebody that is past, or under normal circumstances they would get this revelation, so they can't live in this generation.
All right.
I'm impregnating some older people that have not, or under all circumstances cannot be pregnant right now, because they have been written off as too old, and they're set in their ways.
Come on, Pastor.
But what God is saying in the season, I'm about to give pregnancy to some people that said that the system says, actually the system has pushed them away to go ahead on and die. But no, you're going to walk in and their stomach going to be stuck
Come
out.
on now.
Please stay with me. That's something. And so why is God doing this? Because he's just impregnated Mary. And now he tells Mary, I need to connect you to someone that's older that is pregnant too. Why is this? Because I'm giving birth in 2 different generations. Why? Because I'm tired of the fighting of the old generation when I give pregnancy to a younger generation. And see, here's the text. Here's what the text says. It says it's like a woman that travailed in labor, right? It says she is hurting, she is crying, she is mad, she's kicking. You know how you did me when I had my son. You had a hold to my hand, and I was like, baby, and you were squeezing so hard because the pain was so severe. But notice this, whenever the doctor pulled out the baby and showed it to us, all of the pain was gone. We remember the pain no more. Now listen, if you gave birth 40 years ago and you haven't given birth in 40 years, when somebody comes up pregnant, you're not going to understand the birthing process or the pains. And so you'll start talking about them because they're in a birthing. They say things, they operate a certain way. You don't know it because you done forgot about the labor pains and the things that happened and the things they had to go through to get to it, because you haven't experienced it in a long time. So now there's an infighting because there's somebody new pregnant and there's somebody old that ain't been pregnant in a long time. And since I believe I got to go through you to get to where I need to go, you going to fight against me because you going to remember when you were pregnant and you were the man you still think you are. When God is trying to birth something brand new, now you're going to fight again. So what God said, here's the remedy to this problem. I'm going to give birth in 2 different generations, so that while you are painting to bring forth, there's somebody in the other generation say, I understand because I'm pregnant too. Let's connect and make this thing happen together. Stay with me. So there's an unveiling in this season. There's a revelation that's coming forth in this season that is greater than we've ever experienced before. So we got to get ready for this unveiling. You have not been left out. You have not been left out. And so Mary, she goes to the house of Elizabeth. This is important. 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 She gets to the house of Elizabeth. And now, you know, the text says, I'm not going to teach that. The text says that John leaped when Jesus walks into the presence. My goodness, this is so powerful. And so here's what the text says. The text says that Elizabeth took a switch in posture, because we always thought that since you were younger than me, when you coming in, I have the preeminence over you. But Elizabeth says something very powerful, because she recognized that this girl is carrying the change.
All right.
This girl is carrying something inside her. Even though I can't see it, my spirit just leaves. Sometimes we don't have to go with our spirit and not what physically we have been taught. Not physically. See, when Mary shows up, check this out. When Mary shows up at Elizabeth's house, John leaps. The thing that she's carried, the pregnancy that she carried, leaps inside her. And she says, blessed is my house. Elizabeth says, blessed is my house because, Mary, you have entered into my house. She didn't say, Mary, you blessed because you came to my house. Now, nope. Here's what she said. She says, I am blessed because you're carrying something, and God just allowed me to be pregnant while you came to the party. Woo, it's so bad. And so the Bible says John leaped, right? Now, technically, they're both in the water, right? Mm-hmm. Now, they were not physical, though. Not yet. They were physically, but they were inside. They couldn't see each other. This connection was in spirit. Now, when we connect in spirit, we get a greater understanding than we do when we connect in the physical. Mm-hmm. That's why he said this thing that has not been created by man. That's physical. Right. They might get it. They might not get it. But when they're pregnant spiritually, they'll start moving with you. The spirit will awaken both of you guys, no matter what age you are. And now, look here. Go all the way through life, 30 years later. Okay. 30 years later, John is in Jordan and Jesus come walking in. John is where? In the water. Again, he was in the water in his mom's belly. And Jesus in the water in his mom's belly. And John leaped. 30 years later, John is in the water again. And here comes Jesus stepping in the water. But what does John say? He sees him physically and he says, I knew him not. How do you not know now what you knew then? Because now we have become so physical, and we're trying to define things in the physical, when God says you should have been defined in the spirit. Yeah. This was such an incredible moment that John, even in prison, he starts sending messages and say, hey, is this the one? Or should I be looking for another? This is the posture of the church right now. We done lost sight. Please hear me, please hear me, please hear me, please hear me. I am just a messenger to send a message. Now we are questioning because we are hearing that he's exposing or unveiling somebody right now in this season that should not be unveiled. Because according to all of the criteria of man, they don't qualify. And so John is sitting in jail because Jesus has just let a woman that was caught in the very act of adultery go. And since me and Jesus was born under the law, I know how the law goes. And if the law says that by Moses, she should be dead, why is this man they call Jesus letting her go? Okay. Why is he exposing her and telling her daughter, go live life now? Go live life to the maximum. Go live life to the fullest of potential when she should have been dead. And so John said, oh my God, is he the one? Or should I be looking for another? Because this can't. It's the plight of us right now. So now watch this. God is unveiling. The text is this, that you're going to be unveiled, and there's some people that should know, might not have any idea who you are. But that's okay. You don't stop what you're doing. Now notice what Jesus' reply was to the messengers from John, their question. He says, I'm not going to try to explain this. Let me show you. He laid hands on him. He says, tell him that the deaf is hearing now. The dead is being raised. Come on. The lame is walking. Because once I have the manifestations of God in my life, I don't care who you are, you can't question that. That's why the enemy wants us to think that we are disqualified, because there's something that we're carrying in this season that God is going to allow a great manifestation. That's why the earth right now is moaning and groaning, waiting for the manifestations of the sons of God. Now, please hear me, because this is very important. When I say the sons of God, we think that the sons are always those that are already in. Please hear me, please hear me. There's a son for every season. And I might be talking, I don't mean to be deep on this, and I might be talking like overhead. This is all the way outside of our trajectory. This is all the way outside. I'm sorry. What God is doing in this season is going to be outside of a lot of boxes. Please hear me. It's going to be outside of a lot of boxes, because he's doing something that is incredible in this season, and we do not need to miss this moment, not knowing, because we are processing everything to a physical experience as opposed to what the Spirit of God is saying. And so we are in this moment that God is about to do a lot of things that's going to be outside of the box. It's going to be incredible, because he's about to show out. God's about to show out. Listen, he's going to use unusual people. Why? Because he's doing unusual things. Mary was unusual. Why? Because she's a virgin that's about to have a baby. Mm-hmm. By all men's standard, how in the world can this happen? Oh my God. And so what happens, this is so powerful, man. It's so powerful. Now, God tells Joseph, he says, you're going to have to accept, Joseph, something that is unacceptable in the circles.
Yeah.
Now, how does God come to this boy Joseph and say, you're going to have to accept something that's not acceptable in the circle? I'm going to force you and challenge you to think outside this box. Because all the rulership says that this should not happen. Mm-hmm. But I'm not asking them. I'm not asking them if they agree with it. God is about to do something. We're seeing it happen right now. We got the big discussion about Kanye West and all of that. And God said, I didn't ask y'all. Y'all can discuss it all you want to. I'm bringing in people that don't know the system, so they're not asking you if they can do what I said.
My God.
I'm not asking you. And they're so big in where they come from that they're not small where they feel intimidated by the people that are intimidating the people that I've called. Here it is. He goes to Joseph and he said, Joseph, you're going to have to accept something that's unacceptable in the circles. He dropped it. And he says, now, I'm going to give you a chance to accept it if you want to. Now, this is on you. You can accept it, or you can tell me that my friend going to think I'm crazy. My other people going to think I'm crazy. Or you can accept this and go with it. He says, okay, Lord, I'm going to take a chance on it. And then the Lord, here it is. And so all the rulership of the time is after this boy. Mm-hmm. Because they know a king is coming. There's a lot of people going to be after what you're about to birth because they know that it's coming and it's going to disrupt the systems that be. But that's okay. God is going to protect you in this season because he's going to expose you. And so what does God do? He sends him in a direction, say, go down to Egypt. This is so powerful. This is so powerful. I don't even have time to teach that whole thing because my time is all almost up. But he said, go down to Egypt. I'm going to hide you in Egypt. Now, how does God hide the anointed in Egypt? I thought you brought me out of Egypt so that I can be away from that. But you're telling me to take the anointed down into Egypt so I can protect it? Oh, yeah. And so let me add this to the package because this is going to be very important. There's a place that God is going to send you to protect you. The system is going to say you can't get protection there because it's going to be the greater influence on you. Mm-hmm. And God's going to say, no. I'm sending you to a place that is unusual. This is outside the box to protect you because I'm bringing you back. You know, the Bible says he calls his son from where? Out of Egypt. He's going to come back out of Egypt, but I'm going to protect him in Egypt. Now, stay with me because this is important. Jesus walks into the presence of his disciples. Here it is. He says, I got a question I need to ask you. And they say, what is the question? Now, the destination of the place of the question is important. Because that destination of the place in question can be in question. All right. So now the Bible says this, that he takes them to a place called Caesarea Philippi. Now, why is this important? Because when you understand Caesarea Philippi, this was a town that was known for idol worship. All right. This was a town that was known for idol worship. And so Jesus, from the closest town that resembled anything that was religious, it was 25 miles from Caesarea Philippi. Okay. Caesarea Philippi was off the beaten trail. It was off the beaten trail. Now, here's what this is. Mark chapter 8. I need to Mark chapter 8 for scriptorial reference. Mark chapter 8 verse 2. So he took them to Caesarea Philippi. He says, "Come over here with me, Caesarea Philippi." And then he says, "Who do men say that I am?" It was important of the destination that he asked in Caesarea Philippi. He didn't ask them over there in the religious town of Capernaum or any other town where it seemed like God had dominion in and everybody had the same mindset. He took them out of any proximity of a religious mindset. And he now here's what the picture is. Jesus goes and leans up against one of the idol shrines. He leans up on it. And actually in the story that this was a cave And this cave was the entryway into the home of the den of a pagan god that was powerful in the area. And so Jesus leaned at the door and he says, let me ask you a question. He says, who do men say that I am? Now you can imagine these 12 Jewish young men looking at Jesus leaning on this shrine and saying, why is he asking us this over here? Why didn't he ask us this at church? And I think it's interesting that he goes to the place where it's idol worship to ask. Because if I had to ask you in church amongst all of your parishioners and your church members, you're going to give me the general consensus answer. Right. And y'all going to start shouting. But that's not where I'm asking you at in this season. I'm coming to a place where you think that the devil has dominion in. And I'm coming to you in that place on your life where you think that I can't come. And then I'm going to ask you, who do you say that I am over here in this dreaded place, not in the good place? I just revealed it. Listen to me very closely. There are some of you that God is coming to your dreaded place where you think the devil has got you by the neck and you can't get loose. This is a dreaded situation, and he's going to come and say, who do men say I am? Now, do you think for 1 minute Jesus is interested in who men say that? He says the thing that you're about to give birth to, no man will have anything to do with this. So you think I'm asking you because I'm concerned about their opinion? And he said, watch, they started answering the question. They said, Jesus serious, let's answer him. And so they started answering the question. He said, some say that thou art Jeremiah. Some say Elias. Some say this. Or one of the other major prophets. Oh, Jesus, we just told you, you are one of the prophets. He says, Okay. I see you're going to answer me from what you've been taught by the religious system. Okay, I'm not going to ask you that. Who do you say I am? I don't need a religious that you're in a place, you're in a bad place, you got devil got his hand around your neck, and you still talking religious talk. Some say that y'all Jeremiah. Oh, hallelujah. But you're still in the vice. Let me ask you, with your messed up self, who am I to you? Who am I to you? It's the get real moment. This ain't no fake moment. Who am I to you? Let's see if you really understand who I am. And when you can get who I am in this dreaded place, we're about to bust a move. And so Peter stands up, who never answered right. He says, thou art the Christ, Son of the living God. Jesus pulls off his glasses. Well, he didn't have glasses on. He had glasses on. Jesus turns it. Can you imagine Jesus looking at Peter like this? Here it is. He's still like this. He said, or he turned to Peter and said, blessed art thou, Peter. Oh my God. Flesh and blood. No man could have given that to you. This revelation that you just brought out, this is a revelation that could not be downloaded from man. This is brand new. This is something that I was hoping that one of y'all would answer this like this, that I am the Christ, Son of the living God. Because everybody, he says, all of your elders are fighting me right now. They are plotting to kill me because of one thing. I said that I am the Son of God. And now you just revealed something that could put you in jeopardy because you just spoke outside of the box. You just said I'm the Son of God when everybody in your generations is saying that I should die because I proclaim to be the Son of God. And so you see now why I brought you over here to Caesarea Philippi, because I had to take you from the danger of those that you thought had your back. I had to get you out of their midst, because if you had to declare this in their midst, they would have wanted to kill you like they're killing me. I'm preaching today. And so I had to take you to a territory that you have been told by your teacher that I can't be that over there. And I'm showing you in this season, I can take you to the place that you think a devil dominate and tell you that I am the God of this situation. My God. I can be exactly what I want to be to you. It's going to start in Egypt because that's where you're going to get your protection. But there's a day that I'm going to call you out of there and bring you back into the place. Now, notice this. He says to Joseph, I'm still on point. He says, Joseph, they that seek his life is now gone. Now it's time for you to start life. Because I had to switch some things up to put you in position. But I had to first get you to see who I was and ask you, do you hear me? Do you see me now? Do you see me now? Do you see? How many minutes I got? Is my time up? Now I just talked about Mark chapter 8. What I say, verse number 27. Let's go back a little bit to the 21st verse. I do know that passage scripture. Now, after Caesarea Philippi, let's go back to the place of good standing. It says, now he comes into Bethsaida, and they bring to him a blind man, desiring that he would touch him. And the Bible says he took that blind man and said, let's go out of town. Let's go out of town, because I can't do this right now because I got a bunch of believers that don't believe.
Oh, my God.
I got a bunch of people here that don't believe. And so he takes the blind man out of town, and town real quick, and I'm going to end. And then he says he spat and he rubbed. And so I always looked at that passage. I said, why did he take this blind man out of town? And then of course, the natural revelation would be he took him out because he's finna do some gross stuff. He's going to spit. Let's bring it up. Under normal circumstances, we ain't letting nobody spit on you. Somebody spit on you, it's fighting time. But Jesus spit on the man, and he took him down. And he says, now let me ask you a question. What do you see? The man says, I see men as trees. Jesus said, not right. Now, why don't I take that? The Bible says he went and touched him again. Mm-hmm. That's the posture of the church. We've been seeing things. We had a touch, but we've been seeing men as trees. We've been seeing men as foreigners. We've been seeing men as dysfunctional. We've been seeing men in the wrong light. Now he's about to touch again so we can see men right.
All right.
Notice what the text said. He touched him again and he said, now I see. Now the Bible didn't declare or didn't make clear whether the man was born from birth, born blind from birth, or he went blind by injury. It doesn't matter. The fact is that he's given an interpretation of something that was not correct. And so what he's saying to you, I don't know if you were born like this or somebody gave you the impression of what a man should be. It don't matter. This revelation that he's about to reveal is about to be a revelation that you're about to see everything clear. But remember, he had to take you from amongst the people that you felt like you had. See, if he had to ask him in Bethsaida amongst all the crowd, he would have started dancing like everybody else. I see. What do you see? I don't know, but everybody else dancing, I'm dancing too. This ain't the season for that. So he had to take you from the influences to take you by yourself so that you could tell the truth in this season. I didn't see it right. I don't know what it is. And now he says, okay, now that you said you don't see it, now let me give you a clear revelation. Because I didn't want you to see it until I showed it to you.
Come on.
Listen, I said all that to say this. My time is up. This is a season of your exposure. This is a season of unveiling. I guess I teach this. I teach my text on Wednesday that I had to teach today. This is the season of unveiling. This is a season of exposure. Please hear me. When God says he's exposing you, he's not trying to find the negative parts. Yeah. He's not finding your negative parts. You got people good at that. There's already enough resources trying to expose your negative part. When God says it's time to expose, he's exposing the good part. There's some things that you've been letting lay dormant because you thought you didn't qualify. He says, I have qualified you to live life. I'm exposing your good parts. Remember, the positive things that God show you is always small, very small, like the size of a mustard seed. The negative things that the enemy brings are big because you have lived them your entire life. That's why you got to understand what a life of faith is. A life of faith is when the enemy comes, he brings the evidence of your failures from the past. When God comes to your life, he says you're going to have faith to get something that you never had. Right. So the negative will always look bigger than the positive. But God says if by faith you can grab a hold to the small little seed, he says that thing is going to grow. So don't despise the small beginnings. Just grab a hold to God and what he said through faith and watch him bring you everything that he promised you into fruition. That's all I'm saying. Let's pray together. Father, thank you for this word. Thank you for the people that hear this word. Thank you for them that bring it in. They are determining their harvest. Some 30, some 60, some 104. Be careful what you hear, how you hear, because it's going to be brought back to you at the level of your ear. So let us take this word in, apply it to our life, Lord, so we can maximize the life. Lord, we will not die with seed in our hand when there's a harvest of faith. Thank you for the people that are coming into 100% harvest in this season. They are healed, they are prosperous, and they are happy. In Jesus' name we pray, amen. Thank you guys so much for the word. I would strongly suggest to you, if you have not, take advantage of the things that God has given you advantage in. God is connected to you, so connect fully with him. I don't care what they saying. I don't care what they think about it. I just told you. I don't care. It's not that you being insubordinate. It's just that I have decided that I'm living like God said. I used to tell people when they say, why did you do that? I say, ask God. Because I'm going to be obedient to his word. And so you're going to have to ask him. Because sometimes he tells me to do something. I don't know why he said it because it didn't make sense to me. So you're going to have to ask him. while I'm asking him at the same time. But you cannot in this season not be obedient to what he said. Amen. Thank you so much, Pastor Deidre. Thank you so much, Avery Thompson. Thank you so much, Pastor Marissa. See you guys in a minute. We're in Dallas, Texas right now. We can't wait till the night to teach. Thank you so much, Mary Jones. Mary's in New York. Thank you, New York. Monique Warren. Thank you so much, Monique. Thank you so much, Krishana Oates. Thank you. All of you guys, Carmen Pomfrey, Carmel Pomfrey. Who else is in there? Donna Lindsay Rob. Thank you so much, woman of God. Thank you so much, Leah. San Francisco. Thank you so much. Pastor Brian Harris. Bless us, man. Dar. Hey, Dar. Tambra White. Thank you. Jessica. See you in a minute, Jessica. Who else? Pastor Joel Pumphrey. What's up? Masana Williams. Marsha Williams. Thank you. Missionary Betty Ortiz. Thank you so much. And thank you so much, Jennifer. Now, you know why we call people names? Because I'm excited because people are connected. Thank you for taking your lunchtime or whatever time you got and connected. Tom Scott. Listen, go to my YouTube page, Pastor G at Network of Believers, and connect with us. I got videos there, private videos that I do live, and then some I just do for YouTube to inspire. Thank you, Pastor Tom Scott. Thank you, Pastor Steve Robinson. Thank you, Deborah Shade. Thank you, Derek Anderson. Ain't ass. Raina, Atlanta. Pastor Angela, Atlanta. Miss Flowers, Tatonia Flowers. I think I said it right. Pastor Melinda, Atlanta. Atlanta. Pastor Melinda Downey, Atlanta. Sandra K. McGowan, thank you so much. All right, guys. Sylvia Driggins, thank you guys so much. Thank you guys. Tracy Daniels, James Crawford. Thank you guys so much. Thank you guys so much. All right, we love you guys. We're excited about what God is doing. I need you to get ready, prep yourself, open yourself up, because God is going to reveal it. His word is a lamp unto your feet. He's going to reveal some things to you. He's going to allow you to live it. Man, I'm excited about your future. Yes, this should be the happiest time of your life, because you should be walking in your happy season. Don't let nobody bring you down. Stay up. Believe in God. Live it. It's yours. You can have it. Multitasking today. We'll listen again. It was good. All right. Thank you so much, Pastor Anderson, for multitasking and listening to us. Thank you for brochures. Thank you for all those things. Thank you. For those of you who want to give, you can go NOBC. Cash App NOBC. Thank you guys so much. Love y'all. We are out of here. See you guys tonight and tomorrow. Tomorrow back in Little Rock. Tomorrow. Thank you so much, Valerie Grace. Thank you so much. Thank you. All right.
Tonight at Stemmons Trail,
2363 Stemmons Trail, Dallas, Texas. If you're in the Dallas area, we would love to see your face in the place. It's going to be an incredible word tonight. Thank you guys so much. Anything else? That's it. Blessings. Holla. We're out of here.